นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะแม่ขออนุญาตพูดเป็นภาษาอังกฤษ This Sunday we are with some students from United States. They are taking class at Mahidol University. So allow me to speak to you in English. Two topics that I think it's important. We will repeat with Victoria taking the three refuge and become Buddhist. For an outsider, outsider means outside Buddhism. Before you take ordination, in our text it says that that person should become Buddhist at least for 4 months. In England, usually they take 1 year. For a person who intend to be ordained, to come in and wear white and stay for 1 year, because the Western culture and Asian culture is very different. So that is a shifting between Western culture into the Asian culture. The way you bow, the way you hold yourself, the way you walk, you have to come into Buddhist culture. So it usually takes the Western people 1 year. But for Victoria is coming from United States, and she has been Buddhist. She has been practicing Buddhism for a long time, for many years. But when she expressed her idea to be ordained towards the end of the year in December, so we asked that she should officially become Buddhist. So we perform a ceremony for her to make pronouncement that she is a Buddhist by taking the three refuge. So taking the three refuge, that is that you take refuge in the Buddha, in the Dharma, in the Sangha, and you repeat 3 times. And she has to ask in Pali. So it is Puttang Saranang Kacchami, Dhammang Saranang Kacchami, Sanghang Saranang Kacchami. And then you say it again 2nd time, you say it again 3rd time, to make sure that you mean it. You want to commit yourself to this. And then after that, I give her the 5 precepts. So I told Victoria that the 5 precepts are very similar to the second part of your 10 commandments. So this is how you enter into Buddhism officially. We also provided her with a certificate so that she can show her teachers later on. And we hope that she comes back again in December to take the lower ordination. So that is the step of becoming a Buddhist and coming into the monastic life. Now you will ask, what does it mean to be a Buddhist? I teach the Thai people that most of them are Buddhist by chance, whereas the Western people who commit themselves to become a Buddhist, they are Buddhist by choice. So even though we have something like 67 million Buddhists in our country, and we boast that out of this number, 95% of them are Buddhist. But I'm afraid that very few of them are Buddhists who knows what Buddhism is about. Now talking about how to become a Buddhist. When the Buddha actually established Buddhism, he gave responsibility to 4 groups of Buddhists. We call them the fourfold Buddhist communities. The bhikkhus, the monks, the bhikkhunis, the nuns, fully ordained nuns, and then the laymen and the laywomen. And the Buddha expected them that number 1, they will study the teaching of Buddha. Yes? So this is what Victoria is going to do. Study the teaching of the Buddha. Second, you put that into practice. You don't only study in the text and good in your examination, but you must also be well practiced in the teaching. The third one is, should there be any outsider criticizing Buddhism wrongly, you must be able to defend. And the fourth one, you must be able to propagate. These are the responsibilities that comes with you announcing yourself as a Buddhist. Some people said, oh, it's enough, Venerable Mother, like Pia, it's enough that I practice myself. It's not enough. You cannot continue Buddhism if you practice only for yourself. Because how can you defend yourself? How can you defend Buddhism against others? How can you start teaching others? So Buddhism dies when you die, right? If you practice only for yourself, you're a very peaceful person, people could People could be fighting and they kill themselves in front of you and you remain so peaceful. That is not to be a Buddhist. That is not about being Buddhist. So Buddhists must be alert. You must be joyful practicing Buddhism. You must be alert to be able to help others. So some people would practice only for themselves. You are in the temple. You are practicing the 5 precepts. You are not killing anyone. You are observing the precepts very well. But there is a couple, the husband is beating the wife in front of the temple. You said, oh, that's too bad. That's her bad karma. We have nothing to do with it. But in Buddhism, the Buddha also teaches you to have compassion for others. If you are able to stop that fighting, you should. You see, so the teaching is not only for you, but it is for you and the community. So when the Buddha sent out the first batch of Buddhist monks to preach, 60 of them, the first batch is 60, he said, be beneficial to yourself and to others. Mind you, to others. ให้เป็นประโยชน์ตนประโยชน์ท่านนะพระพุทธเจ้าไม่เคยสอนให้เราทำประโยชน์ตนเท่านั้นนะคะเพราะฉะนั้นอย่า twist how to say twist อย่าบิดเบือนคำสอนของพระพุทธเจ้าแล้วบอกว่าปฏิบัติเฉพาะตนก็พอ it's not enough it's not enough that you're peaceful yourself it is also you must extend this to others if you are in a situation that you can okay so learning the teaching putting into practice being able to defend and to propagate this is the responsibility that Victoria will understand and try to continue just now as I mentioned that look at Victoria. She became Buddhist only for 2 days, but she already know the perfect way of receiving the teaching by sitting and folding the hands. And they have been Buddhist for their life, their whole life. They're just sitting there, not folding the hands. You see? So even your manner is an expression of how much you are a Buddhist, how much you have understood. At this particular time that a monk or a nun is giving you a teaching, how do you receive? So this, you remember the word humble? To be humble. You know, to be humble is inside is soft because you are soft inside, you're willing to accept the teaching. That's why physically you can come down like this, humble, to be humble and fold your hands. See? So to be a Buddhist, there is an expression of being a Buddhist, even the way you sit. Understand, Victoria? Even the way you sit. You know, people said, oh, she's well trained. Oh, she has a teacher. Her teacher trains her well. The way you practice, it is a reflection of the standard, of the quality of your teacher. Understand? So when you go out, you are representing Buddhism to people outside. Very important, very important. So we are not becoming Buddhists just to take picture. We are becoming Buddhists with responsibility. Now when you make a pronouncement of taking refuge in the Buddha, what do you mean by Buddha? How do you understand this Buddha? This Buddha or these Buddha images? Or these Buddha images, you know, who protect them? Me. I protect them. Because otherwise they come in and steal. You know, downstairs, the thief came in trying to break down the window in order to get in, to steal the Buddha image, to steal the Buddha statues. But of course they don't see Buddha statue as Buddha statues. They see the Buddha statues as brass. How many kilos of brass they are going to sell, you know. So if you take Buddha as outside object like that, that cannot give you refuge. The Buddha that you can take as refuge is that quality which makes that person the Buddha. So we are now talking about Buddhahood. Buddhahood. Buddhahood is accessible for that man who became Buddha in India 600 years ago. That Buddhahood is accessible to you and to me. If that Buddhahood is as accessible to him only, then why should we become a Buddhist? We become a Buddhist because we believe that we also can receive that enlightenment. We also can be enlightened. And we are on the path to be enlightened. We are striving to be on the path to be enlightened. That's why we are ordained. If we are ordained without having this Buddhahood as the object, as the aim in our life, spiritual aim in our life, then again we are lost. We are lost. So that is when you become a Buddhist, is to believe that this quality, so Buddhahood is a quality. of your mind, the mental quality to set you free from all the bindings, that tied you down to the world of existence. Okay? So once when you are free from this binding. The Buddha was so genius, when he discovered this truth, this spiritual truth. He was thinking, how am I to convey the message, this beautiful message that I have discovered? How am I to convey this message to the audience? They will not understand. They will not appreciate. Then he spent 49 days, under 7 days under each tree, 7 trees around where he was enlightened, trying to find a way, how can I reach the people with the discovery that I just had? How can I make accessible to them? And then he came to this understanding that he started by talking about suffering, which everyone experiences. So he is very existentialist in that sense. Talk about that which exists in all of us. Then starting to draw us out of the suffering which we have. If he started talking about nirvana, if he started talking about salvation, nobody understands. So he started talking about something that is real for you. You feel the suffering and you want to come out. When he came out to search for this truth, he was asked the 3 questions that was bothering him was, how am I to free myself from the suffering of old age? How am I to free myself from the suffering of getting sick? How am I to free myself from the suffering of dying? To discover that you have to stop by not being born. Isn't that interesting? All this suffering that it is caused to you because you have this physical body. As long as you have physical body, of course you will have physical suffering. The older you get, the more physical suffering you will experience. And that's true, cut across. Young, old, cut across. Everyone will have this experience. So the Buddha was wise to start talking to us about that which we experience. And slowly he is taking you out of that and offer you yet another mental state which you can be free from suffering, which is caused by the clinging to the self. And he explained that which you hold on to the self, actually in the very beginning is not there. It's not there. But because you hold on to it as though it is real, that's why you have suffering. So Buddhism, in short, Buddhism is talking about suffering and how to get out of it. That's all. All the 45 years, all the 45 volumes of the Buddhist canon is this. How to understand suffering, yourself, and how to get out of it. So the message of Buddhism is very direct, and insists that it must be self-experience. จะต้องปฏิบัติด้วยตัวเอง คนอื่นเข้าถึงพระนิพพาน เราไม่ทำเราไม่เข้าถึง เราต้องทำด้วยถึงจะถึง เราทุกข์เหมือนกันไหมเหมือนกันหมด ทุกคนที่เกิดมาเป็นมนุษย์ทุกข์เหมือนกันหมด ทุกข์จากสภาพกายนี่เหมือนกันหมด ไม่มีใครดีกว่าใครเลย แต่สามารถจะออกมาจากทุกข์นั้นได้ ถ้าปฏิบัติตามอย่างนี้พระพุทธเจ้าชัดเจนมากนะคะหลวงแม่บอกสรุปเหลือบรรทัดเดียวนะคะศาสนาพุทธสอนเรื่องอะไรศาสนาพุทธสอนให้เห็นทุกข์และให้ออกมาจากทุกข์แค่นี้เองนะคะเพราะฉะนั้นที่เราดิ้นรนกระวนกระวายใจเพราะว่าเรายังไม่เห็นทุกข์และเรายังไม่แสวงหาหนทางที่จะออกมาจากทุกข์นะคะ so that is good for your what you call it digestion. It's good for your digestion. You start thinking about this message that the Buddha is so direct, giving you very directly, and see whether it's meaningful to you, whether it is meaningful to you. And Buddhism is very open for any one of you to come and get the taste of it and to see whether it's good or not. You are buying this product. We have product for sample. Come in and try for yourself. So in the teaching of Buddhism is always come and see for yourself. always say that, you come and see for yourself, hipasako, badayiko. You come and experience yourself. So therefore, you don't have to convert to Buddhism in order to understand what the Buddhists are talking about, That is accessible to all of us. โมทนาสาธุ